540 million years ago, Earth was a barren wasteland. No animal nor plant roamed the surface. However, life existed beneath the waves. The result of an event otherwise known as the Cambrian explosion brought a huge diversification to life in the waters. Animals more complex, more intricate, and more ferocious than ever before emerged unprecedentedly. Within the blink of time on a geological timescale, practically all animal phyla appeared on our planet. In this mini-documentary, we will embark on a pilgrimage to Yunnan, China to hunt for fossils in hopes to uncover these lost creatures. Using our filmed footage and simple animations, we hope to uncover how one may access this page of Earth's history and how these bizarre creatures once roamed our planet. As mentioned previously, we are going on to a fossil hunt. So, what are fossils? Well, fossils are quite literally a reincarnation or a petrified version of an animal's remains. So remember, it is not the animal itself, it is not the animal's corpse, it is simply a different version, an impression of the animal's corpse. Fossils are usually formed by the cast and mold method. Now what happens is, take for example this. Let's say this is a once alive trilobite. It dies, becomes buried by sediments. What happens is, obviously, the trilobite is composed of organic matter, which means that it's obviously going to decay and leave behind what you call a cast. Through different methods of fossilization, this cast will become filled, and well, the fossil will remain. And then over time, as it erodes or I crack open a rock, the fossil will be revealed independently of itself. For example, this is an excellent example of a cast and mold. This is the cast. It is sort of indented into the rock. This is what forms first. And you can see how there's like calcites all around the thing. It's white. After the cast is formed, a mold is formed, which is more commonly known as the fossil itself. So yeah, look, it's quite cool. And you can see how it's a different color compared to the calcites. Anyways. So that's how fossils are formed. What about different types of fossilization? How does the mold form? Throughout this trip, we deal with 3 different types of fossilization. Those being recrystallization, permineralization, and pyritization. So starting off with the most simple concepts. This is red lithium-I. It's white. Trilobite shells are made of calcite. In this specimen, the trilobite is also, it appears to be white. Now why? Because this is also made of calcite. Now how come? Because the shell of trilobite is essentially recrystallized, meaning that the original substance is still there. Yes, the fossil may not have the original colors of the original animal, but it is still composed of the same substance, just recrystallized in a different form. Sometimes you may find fossils with different colors. For example, this is another fossil trilobite of the same species, but it appears to be pink. Now, why is that? This is called permineralization. After the animal was buried, you would still have groundwater flowing through the sediments. Now, what happens is the groundwater often comes with some traces of different compounds. For example, up here, there's a deposit, or what you call ore vein, of iron oxide, iron 3 oxide. So what happens is that some of those traces of sediments can turn into aluminosilicates, so iron-rich aluminosilicates, which appear to be red or pink when combined with calcite, which is white. So in this case, this is exactly what happened. The trilobite, which is made of calcite, is supposed to be white, but the groundwater flowing through this particular specimen contained iron 3 oxide or iron 3 rich aluminosilicates, which the colors kind of binded with the white color of calcite and turned it pink. The last type of fossilization is the most special one, and that is pyritization. Right, this is a pyritized trilobite. You can see how it has like a metallic luster to it. It's really reflective. Pyritization occurs when the animal decays in the water. So when the animal decays, sulfur is released into the water. Sometimes, if the water is rich in iron ions, the sulfur reacts with the iron, forming pyrite. Now the pyrite, well, obviously, because of denser mass, it will drop onto the ground and will be sedimented. And as it drops into the ground, because there's an imbalance between calcite and pyrite, these two will get switched around, and obviously the trilobite shell that used to be composed of calcite would be replaced with pyrite. Pyrite usually occurs in square crystals in crystal form, such as this. This is pyrite crystals from the same site. However, once pyritization occurs in fossils, the stable structure, the stable lattice is disturbed. The ions from the fossil will become very unstable because there is no stable lattice. And what happens is a reaction known as pyrite oxidization occurs, which is essentially this equation. What happens is this is pyrite, and then pyrite in the presence of oxygen and water will react into sulfuric acid and iron hydroxide, which can further be oxidized into other compounds. So what happens is if you leave your pyritized fossil outside for too long and you don't keep it in a jar, it will just be gone, be turned into powder. That's what happens. How do you excavate fossils? Well, first thing you need to do is really grab a rock, say for example this, and you need to identify the layers. Here, it's layered kind of, it's tilted, and then what you do is you wear your gloves, you get your pickaxe, and then you start to hammer in that layer. It is really effectively flipping over the pages of a book. You can imagine that you can see that these are really layers, and you're trying to flip over one layer, except you're not using your hands, you're using a hammer. So for example, I take a more adequate, smaller piece of rock, right, like this. I identify the layers, it's going like this. I start hammering it. You usually hold the hammer a bit closer to like the tip for more precision. And voila, I split it open. There's no fossils here. I can redo this. Again, split it open, no fossils, etc, etc. After your excavation, how do you conclude your fossil trip? How do you pack up? Take for example this. This is a piece of red lithium-eye. How do I package it to make sure it's safe? Well, we usually use tissue, or here we have once used shower towels, whatever you call them, and then you take something protective, and then you would wrap it up, sort of. Professional people, especially when you're dealing with like bones, you would use plaster of Paris in addition with something to cover the fossil itself. The Chengjiang Biota, also known as the Maotianshan Shale, is one of the most famous fossil deposits on Cambrian faunas in the world. Discovered in 1984 by Mr. Hou Xianguang, The formation is famed for its exceptional preservation of organisms with soft tissue. The Chengjiang Formation had such exquisitely preserved fossils because of its fine sedimentation and most primarily a lack of post-mortem movement, basically meaning that organisms are flash buried without the corpse being disturbed. This was possible due to the fact that the burial site was located at a river delta with lots of flowing mud. Because the more famed fossil localities are protected, we can only access the sites with lower fossil density. However, that would be enough to give us a glimpse on the early Cambrian ecosystem.来了。
凑这些，还有这些，这个可能要好撬一点。
好，下板子。懂了。
起子交给你。
OK。
就是换了这个还有什么功？不看是粗的还是细的
Two trilobites, right here. Trilobita is a class of extinct marine arthropod. These animals are mostly bottom-dwelling and occupied a multitude of ecological niches such as scavengers, filter feeders, and predators. Trilobites existed for almost 270 million years throughout the Paleozoic era. The first trilobites appeared during the Cambrian period, around 521 million years ago. They are wiped out by the deadliest extinction event of all time, the end Permian mass extinction event, 251 million years ago. Due to their mineralized exoskeletons made of calcite, which could be easily fossilized, trilobites have a large abundance in the fossil record, making them extremely important towards subjects such as the identification of rock strata, evolutionary biology, and plate tectonics. Some trilobites, for example Yunnanocephalus, can roll up into a protective position. This defensive capsule not only shields all sides of the animal, it also hides the vulnerable soft underside of the trilobite from the predator. This behavior is shown in a specimen that we found, where a Yunnanocephalus trilobite is buried while it's rolled up. An isopod, which is a living animal today, exhibits a similar feature. It can also roll up in a similar manner. This phenomenon is called convergent evolution, where animals, perhaps living in different geological ages and completely unrelated to each other, have evolved similar features or mechanisms for survival. we're done at this place. The forestry guy just came and he just told us to, move away from here, stop digging the landscape. But we ended up getting quite a couple of trilobites, but of the same species. We got the parts of one trilobite of a different species, but it's only like one segment. But yeah, regardless, we're going to our next spot. We are at our, is it third spot? I've got no idea. It's on top of a mountain, so yeah.
这种就是金地虫。看到一个超级小的了吗？在这儿。
哦，
是一个蝴蝶鸭的。这种蛙是要全满才。
是那种两半壳的那个。
啊，对，也是那种的。
Cambrian is a genus of small-sized, swimming bivalve arthropod. They are often found in groups and occupied an ecological niche similar to today's plankton, acting as food sources for larger predators. In addition, Cambrian also shared a reproductive strategy similar to today's zooplankton. A study in 2014 showed that female specimens could carry 50 to 80 eggs per clutch. The need to reproduce such large clutches and to hide them under the carapace of Cambrian hints at a reproductive strategy of overcoming predatory pressure by producing large numbers of offspring. Found alongside Cambrian, macroalgae oxygenated the ocean via photosynthesis and provided food for primary consumers such as, potentially, Cambrian. These two organisms are what laid the foundation for the Cambrian marine ecosystem. Oh, 这么大一个，你看这儿，
这个有可能是，这个是纳罗的头还是什么东西啊？
Neroia is a genus of arthropod characterized by its flat body plan, non-articulated, non-mineralized exoskeleton, and a prominent alimentary system. Despite its simple body plan, Neroia is actually a part of class Trilobita. The similarity between Cambrian Neroids and trilobites could be observed in their limb morphology. As can be seen, both limb reconstructions are almost identical. Both exhibit the same amount of leg segments. The only major difference between the two is found on the exopod, where the gills are located. 走，盘的，
也是运气好。
开灯，你上面我不敢去。
I should move over there a bit more. Let's see. Oh, look at this, will ya? Fragments. Don't know what this is. Hold up. This is something new. This isn't a trilobite, this is something new. What I found was Tizoia, a genus of bivalved, heavily armored arthropod found across the world. Tizoia occupies the ecological niche of a predator or a scavenger. This particular specimen, Tizoia sinensis, is in the butterfly orientation. This is a rare position of preservation, of which both valves on the carapace are splayed open on the sediment. This specimen has a carapace of 6 cm in length. However, some specimens are known to have carapaces of up to 18 cm in length, making Tizoia one of the largest Cambrian arthropods. Tizoia's carapace is non-mineralized. It is soft and filmy and served less protectional purposes than at first glance. The carapace features a web-like pattern, or reticulation, providing a structure compromising both strength and lightness in the exoskeleton using relatively little material. This is crucial for the animal as it decreased the metabolic energy required for producing a carapace between each molting stage. On the valves of Tizoia are 2 cardinal processes. These are spikes that aid the animal in swimming. The posteral ventral and mid-posterior spine of Tizoia are speculated to be anti-predator features or devices for stability control. The lateral ridge perhaps allowed Tizoia to drift and glide in the water. Tizoia had long and stalked eyes, just like another smaller bivalved arthropod, the Isoxes. Isoxes, meaning equal surfaces, is a small-sized visual predator with a carapace length of around 4 cm. Their eyes are adapted to different light intensities for hunting in different depths of the ocean.
嗨，还有腐形蠕虫。我在艇上看到藻都觉得很。这谁先开始把等级评标出来？
What is this? It's full of shells.
终于有只虫了。
These so-called shells can be classified into brachiopods and bivalves. On hindsight, both don't seem to have much of a difference. However, upon closer inspection, a major difference in shell symmetry could be seen. Brachiopods have a line of symmetry cut across their valves, whilst bivalves have a line of symmetry cut between both valves. Brachiopods are the dominant type of shellfish throughout the Paleozoic. However, after experiencing the end Permian extinction, brachiopods were replaced by bivalves, which can better adapt to a changing environment. Nothing.
下呗。不是。
哦，
抬起来了，然后折下去了。
What is this? I think that's the head of a trilobite. Yeah. This would be its mouthpiece, and the body would be here. This is the head. As mentioned previously, trilobite exoskeletons are composed of mostly calcites. Because of this, dorsal trilobite anatomy is more well preserved than the rest of the animal. Hence, trilobite descriptions are more heavily focused on dorsal features. The word trilobite stands for three-lobed entity, referring to the animal's consistent body plan of one axial lobe connected to two pleural lobes on each side. In addition, the trilobite is divided into three major segments: the cephalon, thorax, and pygidium. The trilobite's head, the cephalon, could be further divided into the librogena and cranidium. The cranidium is composed of the labella and the fixagena. When the trilobite molts or dies, upon decomposition of its corpse or exoskeleton, the body of the trilobite is divided into individual segments, such as in this fossil of a single body segment. In addition, the cephalon or head is separated into the librogena and the cranidium, such as in this fossil where the cranidium is isolated. These fragments of trilobites could be washed and piled up into a clump, like in this fossil, where a mixture of cranidiums and librogenas could be seen of multiple different species. We found multiple specimens of Guanshan caris. Previously identified as Anomalocaris cremagnensis, Guanshan caris was a genus of radiodonts, an order of stem arthropods. It was one of Earth's earliest apex predator. Estimated to have grown up to 32 centimeters in length, Guanshan caris was one of the largest animals of the Guanshan Biota. Like most other radiodonts, Guanshan caris had swimming flaps across its body, compound eyes, and two segmented frontal appendages. This is Guanshan caris' frontal appendage. It is armed with 13 podomeres. The first to 12th podomere are each equipped with a ventral spine. These ventral spines help Guanshan caris pierce and grasp prey as its appendage curls up. The ventral spines down the appendage are more robust than any other radiodont genus. This allows Guanshan caris to crush prey in addition to merely grabbing them. The appendage and mouthpiece of Guanshan caris is biomineralized to provide strength. Because of this, most Guanshan caris fossils are composed of only the appendage and the mouthpiece, as the rest of the body is soft and cannot be preserved easily. Unlike its more famous cousin from Canada, Anomalocaris, Guanshan caris likely hunted hard prey. For instance, brachiopods or trilobites. Trilobite sheddings with bite marks can often be found, for example in this specimen. The tailpiece of Guanshan is fan-shaped, giving the animal the ability to turn quickly through a small radii of curvature. Guanshan is closely related to an apex predator of the Chengjiang Biota, Amplectobelua. Amplectobelua had an appendage that is more specialized than that of Guanshan. It is characterized by its large first ventral spine, speculated to be able to pierce even trilobites. Amplectobelua's frontal appendage allows it to better manipulate its prey. When curled up, the appendage resembles a hugging action, hence the meaning of its name, embracing beast. We've actually found direct evidence that Amplectobelua did hunt trilobites. In this particular specimen, which is rather small, but only after preparation did I find that through the ventral spines, you can see how there is a segment of the trilobite Yunnanocephalus directly kebabbed through the ventral spine. So this really shows how Amplectobelua could have used its large specialized ventral spine to flip over the trilobites by piercing through or piercing under the body segments of the trilobite. From the Cambrian explosion to the world today, our ecosystems have been intricately woven together. We have now acquired a basic understanding towards the Cambrian ecosystem of Yunnan. However, how much more could we have known about this lost ecosystem if more animals were fossilized? That is a question that will probably be never answered. Comparatively, we don't need the animals living today to be fossilized to know more about them. Through this documentary, I hope that you have not only established a curiosity for the wonders that our geology brings, an appreciation to how the first life on our planet lived, but also awareness to the life forms living on this fragile grand web of the ecosystem today, just like extinct life, can still have interesting mechanisms waiting to be uncovered. That is, of course, under the condition that they don't go extinct before we document them. So, take care of the life on our planet today, before it's too late. Thanks for watching.